the state's top education officials submitted a compromise to Governor Bobby Jindal today regarding the ongoing dispute over Common Core testing. Now, this comes 1 month after the governor tried to derail Louisiana's use of standardized tests tied to the Common Core education standards.
Under the proposal, schools would continue using the test associated with LEAP for the upcoming school year. WDSU reporter Andy Cunningham is here now to explain what all this means. Andy?
I'll try to do that, Scott. Here's the deal. State law requires that next year's test use nationally recognized standards and be compared to students from across the nation. But because the governor is trying to block the test that would allow that, the state's top education leaders say they had to come up with something quickly to keep Louisiana in compliance. Almost a month after Governor Bobby Jindal sought to derail Louisiana's use of standardized tests tied to the Common Core education standards, the state's top education leaders fired back Thursday, calling on the governor to compromise.
I'm hopeful that it will provide resolution to this issue around procurement.
State Rep Walt Leger of New Orleans called the proposal laid out by Bessie President Chaz Romer another attempt to address the governor's concerns over PARCC, the test tied to Common Core, by continuing to use LEAP when testing students, at least for the next year. Leger said the proposal would also keep the state in compliance with the law,
which requires that they develop and implement a common set of standards that can then be tested against the rest of the nation to ensure that our students have every opportunity to compete with the best and the brightest from every state.
Romer added Thursday the board still supports the state's adoption of Common Core, and the 2014-2015 test would likely include Common Core themes, but would also include Louisiana-specific content.
I don't think that the contract allows for them to do this.
State Rep Cameron Henry of Metairie, a consistent critic of Common Core, said it really comes down to the fact they need the governor's support. Support he doubts they'll receive.
They need to work with the people that have the greatest issues with it. They're compromising and negotiating with themselves, and that's not how this is going to move forward.
The governor has called on Bessie and the Department of Education to develop its own Louisiana-based test, calling Common Core an attempted federal takeover of education. Now, this is a one-year proposal, according to Romer, who said the state should immediately move forward with locking down new tests that would begin in 2015. And Scott, at this point, we've yet to hear from the governor about this proposal.
Andy, thanks to both state lawmakers and the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education voted in support of the Common Core standards earlier this year. And legal experts say the governor has a tough fight ahead of him if he plans to drop the standards altogether. Several other states across the U.S. have already dropped or are in the process of dropping Common Core from their curriculums. Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Indiana's governors have successfully repealed Common Core legislation. In North Carolina, state lawmakers are currently working on legislation to repeal Common Core. In Missouri, the state House and Senate successfully passed repeal legislation. That now sits on the governor's desk. And in Ohio recently, rallies have been held inside the Capitol calling for an end to Common Core.